One question that keeps popping up from our desperate monkey minds that feel compelled to know is, what does it mean when spiritual teachers say there are no separate entities, no separate self or me? What does Teja or Tony Parsons or Ramana Maharshi or Sri Nisargadatta mean when they say there is no one? There's only what's happening, no one it's happening to. It certainly feels like there's a separate me, a separate someone with its own individual body, needs, judgments, concerns, and considerations. I don't fear some stranger's death as much as I do my own. I work and get money for me and my family, not for someone else. I put food in my own mouth, not someone else's. And if I stub my toe or injure my body, who feels the pain? I feel it, not my neighbor down the street. So, what does this mean? There is no one, no me, no separate entity or self. It sounds like spiritual double talk or avoiding reality. And of course, we can't understand this. This is not graspable by the mind because, by its very nature, mind is already part of, inside of, the illusion of separateness. Convinced it is a separate entity standing separate from other minds and everything outside it. We can draw analogies, which can sometimes trigger a deep resonance or remembering within us, or illuminate our minds with a kind of intellectual clarity. But clarity isn't awakening, so it just becomes a philosophy or an ideology that we try to live by, an intellectual realization that may or may not have any effect on one's life. Perhaps the best analogy is the movie theater. There on the screen is an entire world of objects, people, activities, and feelings. And while watching, we, of course, get fully absorbed. So it feels totally real. Real people, real situations, real lives, and real deaths. But we know it's just a projection. Photons of light filtered through various colors and projected at a blank white screen. There's nothing actually happening to no one. If you stand between the screen and the projector, you can put your hand right through it. Now, if human intelligence can create such a realistic world from nothing but particles of light, couldn't we assume being can create the same? Manifest the appearance, the projection of an entire reality, a universe filled with heavenly bodies and the bodies of trillions of separate beings out of nothing. Because nothing is all being has as a raw material to work with, right? At some point, there was absolute nothingness, the void, the firmament. So, unquestionably, everything came out of nothing. This is nothing being everything. How is that possible? How can some things with actual form, substance, and solidity emerge from absolute nothing? Once again, mind cannot understand this because it's already something, already an apparent object within this movie, this projection. Yes, everything seems very real, but it is merely a projection of apparent form that is actually formless. Light or energy that can be seen right through. Atoms that look like they are solid and cohesive, but actually are almost entirely empty space. The analogy of dreams offers similar intellectual clarity. While asleep, dreaming, the dream you is totally self-contained and absorbed in what it knows as its only reality. If the dream you is walking on a road and a car swerves too close to you, you will jump out of the way just as frantically and fearfully as you would in the waking dream. Yet, upon awakening, you sit up in bed and say, "Oh, that was just a dream. Where is the car? Where is the road? None of that was real. Just an hallucination." And just like in the movie, and indeed in this apparent universe, since none of those dream objects or people, including the dream you, were present inside your head, your pillow, or your bedroom, this everything came entirely out of nothing. Nothing somehow being everything. A whole universe of someones and somethings emerging from absolutely nothing. And apparently happening to no one. Now, this is as close as the mind can come to grasping that in the absolute there is nothing and no me. There couldn't be an individual identity to which these things are happening because all of it, the forms, the formless air, solid objects, myriad beings, even time and space, are all illusory, just insubstantial appearances, projections made out of nothing. Then we stub our toe again, or go back to working a tedious job, or contract an illness, or have a bitter argument with our spouse or our friend, or lose a loved one. And the individual identity comes roaring back irresistibly. Mental clarity or realization of this nothing being everything is of no use by then, because mind is already convinced it is a real separate entity walking through a real world of objects. And your identity as that mind is already firmly in place. And that's okay. Your mind doesn't need to try to hold on to this no self-realization or state, or try to make it into some sort of doctrine or credo to live by. Non-duality is non-applicable. It won't work. Moreover, it doesn't need to. This is being's dream of separateness. separateness, whose very function is to appear as a myriad of separate objects and beings who actually believe, swear, they are separate from each other and from the whole. So this tenacious insistence and irrepressible identification with an illusory me simply means we, as beings' appearances, are fulfilling our function perfectly, and nothing need change. Believe and insist you are a real me, that the personal self really exists, or realize it obviously cannot exist. It makes no difference. Doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is this is it. And this is love in action. The most unconditional and unrestricted love we could ever imagine. So, as we walk through this dream of separateness, insisting this it and these separate selves are real, it seems all we can really do is love everyone unconditionally. Listen to each other deeply and without judgment, and feel the most unbridled compassion and all-encompassing love for everything in being's apparent creation. This dream of no self and many selves. This nothing miraculously being everything. Thanks for listening. See you soon.